Welcome on in. It's day 3 of Inktober, and today's prompt is crown. I decided to do a peacock because they have that crest of feathers on top of their head, and it looks like a crown to me. So there we go. I told you whenever I looked at the prompt, I was just going to draw whatever popped into my head, and that's what popped into my head. Peacocks are they're just dinosaurs with fancy feathers. I'm telling you. They are loud. Woo, they are loud. They can be mean, but they are beautiful to look at. So that's what I went with. Some of y'all may know that I'm a registered nurse. I used to work on a step-down unit in the hospital. And all that is your patients are not sick enough to go to ICU, but they're too sick for the regular medical floor. We did have a lot of heart patients. They were on heart monitors. It was a lot. It was trial by fire because that was my very first job right out of nursing school. So it was just like jumping in with both feet first. Now, as I got older, my hips got worse, so I switched over to home health. Now, home health, you visit the patient's home, change their dressing, take care of PICC lines, change urinary catheters, just all kinds of, there's just a whole host of things that we did as our agency did. Now, all home health agencies don't do the same thing, but our hospital, we were part of the hospital, and we did a lot of things that most don't do. But we had one patient. Oh, let me tell you, we had to cover 5 counties, so that was a lot of driving. And there was a patient that needed to be seen that day. The nurse assigned to that patient went to the house. They weren't home, so they called me because I happened to be in that county later that afternoon. Called me and said, could I go to her and check on her and do whatever we needed to do. Now, this patient lived way out in the boonies. I mean, she was like out there. And she had a flock of peacocks. Well, she had a whole bunch. She had goats, she had ducks, she had chickens and peacocks, and they all just ran loose all over the property. So you never knew what you was walking into when you went to her house because she just had a menagerie. She just had everything. And this day was in the fall, and I had driven up into her driveway. I went up to the door. I didn't get an answer. I kind of went to the other door. She had, some, her house had like a wraparound type of porch. So I went around to the other door to see if she was there. By the time I got back to my car, well, I didn't really make it to my car. There was this big male peacock standing in front of my car. And I'm not afraid of animals, but I do have a healthy respect for ones with claws, and peacocks have some claws. But I wasn't really afraid of him, but I was cautious. And I kind of started easing toward my car, and he was between me and my car. And all of a sudden, he fluffed out his tail feathers. You know how they have that beautiful fan of tail feathers? Oh my God, they're gorgeous. And he started shaking his tail feathers at me. And I'm like, what? Is he angry with me? Am I on his tail? What is happening, people? I did not know. And he's just like trembling those feathers at me, and I'm like, so I just stopped. I froze. I was like, not getting into this with this peacock. I don't know what's happening. I'm not familiar with peacock behavior. Then he starts doing these with his feathers fully extended in that beautiful fan. He starts doing these little pirouettes where he's turning like a ballerina, and he's just kind of spinning, but really slowly, and the whole time he's shaking his feathers at me. And then he starts making this noise. I don't even know. I never heard a peacock make this particular noise. And so I was like, well, I'm just going to go to my car. You're beautiful and everything. I have no idea. I mean you no harm. And as I got closer to the car, he stops and he starts shaking his tail feathers at me again. And I realized this peacock is smitten with me. He is smitten with me. He's not threatening me. He's trying to get me interested. He's letting me know he is single and ready to mingle. Well, now I am just as open-minded as the next person, but interspecies dating, interspecies love is just a bridge too far for me. It would never work out. I was already happily married. So I figured this out, and I'm like, uh-oh. I don't want to hurt his feelings. You know how men get, even Peacock men get when you hurt their pride. So I really wasn't sure what to do. So I still keep easing to my car, slowly, not making any sudden moves. And he's getting a little closer, and he's trembling his little feathers and making that noise. And then he tries to jump up on me. I'm like, this dude is trying to mate with me. So I take off running. I'm like, oh, hell no. This is not happening. No means no, Peacock. No. So I start running. I'm running around my car because I don't know what else to do. He's chasing me. So here we go, round and round my car. And I just had a little Toyota Camry, so it wasn't like no long car. So I was going as fast as I could. I had my medical bag over my shoulder. Now, we carried our medical bags everywhere. Had our stethoscope, our blood pressure cuff, bandages, pins, whatever we needed, all kinds of, whatever equipment we might need for the patient. And it was heavy. But I was like, I didn't know what else to do. So I'm running around. My bag is flying behind me because I got it over my shoulder, the strap on my shoulder, and it's flopping in the wind. The peacock is chasing me. He's wiggling his feathers at me and making a noise and just telling me he loves me. And he just I could just stop for a second, that, this was meant to be. And I was like, no, this is not meant to be. You got to get away from me. And we ran around and around. And finally, I was like, oh my God, I'm tired. I can't do this. So I run up onto the porch. He follows me. I run back down and go back around the car a few more laps. I'm running all over the place. And all I could think of is this peacock is going to claw me to death when he catches me. I was not going to let him catch me. So we're running around the car. I think about jumping up on the hood, and then I'm like, no, because he can jump up on the hood. That don't make no sense. So then I was like, okay, I've got to stand my ground. I've got to let him know that no means no. He is not taking a hint. He is determined that I am for him, and I'm the one. And I'm okay, I might be a little bit flattered, but okay, just a little bit, but still, I'm a full-grown human. He's a full-grown peacock. He needs to go find some peahens. Don't pick on me. So I said, I'm gonna stand my ground. So I turn to the peacock and I just stand there and I tell him no, and I stamp my feet at him. Oh honey, that got him excited. Apparently he likes the hard to get women. That got him even more excited, and he started lunging toward me. And I stamped my feet again and told him, no, get back. And so I kind of went toward him thinking maybe it would scare. No, it didn't scare him. It did not scare him. So I took my medical bag off and I started doing it like a lasso over my head, round and round. I had it by the strap and I started just swinging it because I didn't know what else to do. And he lunged toward me, and I threw my medical bag at him, and it scared him enough to get him to run away just a little ways, enough for me to jump in my car. I jumped in my car, and I was like, oh, thank you, Jesus, you let me in my car. I had to get away from that doggone assaulter. But then I had a problem. I couldn't get my medical bag, and it was laying there in the middle of the driveway. So I just sat there, not knowing what to do, looking around, looking for help. And finally, after all that commotion, the patient comes to the door and she's laughing. She thinks this is hilarious. I do not. I'm sitting in the car. I'm trembling a little bit, not gonna lie. I'm trembling a little bit because that was an ordeal. I was about to get, essayed by a doggone peacock in the middle of the boonies. No one would hear me scream. But she came out. she got the Peacock under control, and I finally got my medical bag. I went in the house, and she gave me some water because I was exhausted. I was like running track around that. Shoot, I probably could have made the world record for the 50-yard dash as fast as I was trying to get away from that doggone Peacock. And of course, I got to see my patient, and I packed, got her taken care of, got myself taken care of. The Peacock ran away, and I prayed to God I never had to go to that patient's house again. So yeah, I did a lot of interesting things in home health, lots of adventures, but had a little lovesick Peacock deciding that I was going to be his woman. I was going to be his love, and I was not. No. Anyway, so now I know this is an ink challenge, so I busted out my colored inks with my dip pen, those Bombay colored inks, and I really liked the way it came out, but it looked kind of plain to me the way that I had my Peacock, and I didn't do a lot of stippling on this one. I just made marks. I mean, I didn't do hatching. I didn't do a lot of stippling. I just made marks, and in the areas where I wanted it darker, I just overlapped the marks closer together, and they're kind of like little U's, to sort of look like feathers, those little tiny feathers they have on their face and neck. So that's what I did. I just made a bunch of U's, and then wherever I wanted them darker, I just stacked them on top of each other so not that much of the white of the paper shined through. And then where I wanted them lighter, I would leave more of the white of the paper. I would spread those out. I also did some lines down his neck, just some line work. So I guess that was hatching, but I didn't do a whole lot of just stippling this time because I wanted to try to get this one finished, but it took me 3 hours, not gonna lie. It took me 3 hours. So yeah, no, I didn't get it done fast. That was my point, or that was my goal. It didn't happen. And I really started getting into it, so that slowed me down because when I start getting into work, then I'm getting more careful with it. I did do stippling on the beak, and then I decided that I was going to do a black background. And so I just got my paintbrush, and I painted that background black. You'll see it here in a minute. And I left like a white ring around him, like a white border. And then the black looked too plain. So I didn't really like the black just being plain. So what I did was I came back after all of that black India ink dried, and I decided I was going to put some kind of design, and I'm not sure if it worked or not. Here I'm just coloring in between those feathers, the black background. But like I was just about to say, I decided I would do some kind of design. I didn't really know what. I thought, well, I'll just do peacock feathers, the shapes, just some stylized peacock feathers back there so that it's not totally black. I just didn't like the solid black. So I got my white gel pen. I figured that still counted. It's still ink. And I just did a few peacock feather designs behind it. I didn't cover all of the black with it because I thought that would be too much. It would be too much. So I just did sort of a little design behind him, and I'm much happier with it than the solid black. But I don't know, in the future I might try even different things, but that's the whole point, is to learn, stretch your creativity, try some new things in this sketchbook. And so I hope you enjoyed this. This was the third one, the third in Inktober. Shout out to my patrons. Love you guys. And I will see you tomorrow for prompt 4.